Now it's time for my perspective. I must say, folks, it is wonderful to actually be financially free. And when I say that, I'm talking about when you don't owe anybody, when your house is paid for, when your cars are paid off, when you have no credit card debt, when you simply owe nobody. If you want something, you can buy it. But there was a time when I wasn't in that situation. I've talked about this on this show and others, and that there was a point when I actually filed for personal bankruptcy because I had nearly $100,000 in health care bills. I had other bills as well. I almost lost my house going into foreclosure as a result. So don't think for a second you're sitting at home saying, oh, you're on TV One, you're on CNN, you're on the Tom Joyner Morning Show. Of course you have enough money. I was in the same situation as many of you. But one of the things that I did, and this is most important, I looked at myself and I said, what can I do to change my life? And I think we have to be honest about this, folks. That it's very easy to talk about the credit reporting agencies and the problems they have with our scores. But it also means that we must do our part to ensure that we are not being addicted to debt and we become slaves to that system. And so what does it mean? It means going back to old school. And that means if I don't have the money, guess what? I save up for it and I buy it then. It also means telling your children, no, you can't have it right now. You might get it one day, and we have to see what happens with our money. But for too many of us, we really don't want to have that difficult conversation. We want our cake and eat it too. Many of us right now have children who are going to college one day. And guess what? We have no money saved up. So what happens? We're waiting for somebody to say, hey, where's that doggone student loan to get my kid in school? Folks, that's not going to solve it. And so what we have to do is become serious about our financial life and begin to say the goal is to be financially free. That means no more shackles on us. That means saying, if I can't afford it, I'm not going to buy it. And that means looking at these credit agencies and say, you're not going to determine my life. It's amazing when you talk to some older African Americans and they talk about paying for cars in cash, paying for houses in cash. People who made 10, 12, 13, no more than $20,000 their entire lives. They knew how to live within their means. So I say this here. Forget what your friends think. Forget what your families think. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Don't buy that car if you simply can't afford it. If you want a home, save your money to get that home. But stop sitting here living a life where you are enslaved to the issue of debt. I'm telling you, there's nothing greater than waking up every single morning knowing you don't owe anybody, not worrying about them calling your house phone or your cell phone, and sitting here worrying how you're going to pay somebody off. African Americans, we were free from the issue of slavery. It is time for every single one of us to be free from the shackles of debt. That's my perspective. What's yours?